Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Connected Live. Thank you so much for joining me today and for seeing this if you catch it after it's done being live. The reason I wanted to get on today was, I've been having a lot of conversations with people about a healthy diet, not only for themselves, but for pets, because as a lot of people know, I work with people and I work with other species, other animals. And people know that a lot of people just specialize with either animals or people, and I'm able to do both equally well. So the conversations between, having a healthy diet and for animals and for people have been coming up a lot lately because a lot of people are saying, well, if you eat really healthy, is it necessary for you to have supplements, and how many supplements, and what is it, that qualifies as what you need? Well, in general, when I have these conversations with people when they're clients, I start off with saying, well, hypothetically, you eat super clean. Hypothetically, you eat organic, and you just are, covering all the bases and eating a really balanced diet, drinking tons of water, almost little to no, processed sugar, et cetera, chemicals. The fact is, there's a couple of factors that inhibit food from being your sole source of what your body needs and what your body may be deficient in. And one is our soils are completely depleted at this point. The fact that our species is so overpopulated, farming practices, even the organic ones, they'll tell you that the soils are just depleted. There's no ifs, ands, or ways about it. So if you are eating organic, even though that is much healthier than eating something that is genetically modified from, say, this new farming that's been coming up since Monsanto got on the scene, eons ago. It's funny. I find it, interesting that they'll say regular food versus organic food, and organic food gets a bad rap. And it's also really hard, though, with organic labels. Everything is so... it's hard to figure out what's really organic, what's not. China's selling organic food now, which is ludicrous. So your best bet is to buy as much local, from local farmers markets, where you can really kind of look into how your food is being farmed. But the fact is, our soils are depleted even if you're eating at your best, even if you're eating locally farmed, that's organic and clean farming. Organic farming, by the way, is traditional farming. It's the way farming was done prior to Monsanto coming on the scene with their genetically modified and their pesticides and their insanity. So when people say, this organic is a load of blah, 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 in some respects, yes, because the system is really corrupt with all these labels, but it's actually traditional farming prior to the pharmaceutical companies getting a hold of the farming industry, and prior to the FDA stating that vegetables have to be irradiated. So if you have an irradiated piece of cauliflower or broccoli, basically, even if the thing is green, it's been hammered with, radiation to clean it of bacteria or whatever. And so it's completely almost devoid of nutrition. And that's all like fact-based stuff. It's not woo-woo stuff. So if you take that, what I just talked about for humans, and then you add that to pet food, even if you're feeding your dog a raw diet or a cooked diet, just say you're doing it organic, again, soils are depleted. Everybody's body is different. So what your deficiencies are, like every year I tell people, at least once a year, do your blood work. Check out where your vitamin levels are at, where your mineral levels are at. See what's going on inside your system and where you need support. Same thing for our animal companions. I really do believe that you should at least do your blood work for your pets, even large and small animals, at least once a year to see where they're at. Things change, sometimes more than once a year, but once a year would be kind of like the least amount you could do. If you work with somebody who's a holistic DVM who can actually do the muscle testing, then you may not need the blood work to back it up. But in general, very important to do. So I wanted to focus this Connected Live not on people, but on pets, because I feed a really good feed for my horses. Obviously, I do really quality food for my dogs, but both my dogs are special needs in different ways. And my two boys turn out to be slightly special needs in certain ways, and both Jack and William are totally different. So William is getting the feed and practically needs no supplements. The feed has a lot of minerals, balanced vitamins in it. So he's in a good place right now, and I actually don't have to add anything to his food. The only thing that is different about William than Jack is a little bit of a harder keeper, needs more food. So he'll actually take feed, he gets hay, he's out on pasture, which has beautiful grass because we have that at 3F Ranch where I board him. Beautiful. He's on over 100 acres and the grass is just gorgeous and wonderful. But I also have to give him alfalfa. He needs the extra. For whatever reasons, his system needs the extra. So he gets a flake or two of alfalfa on top of everything else, that he gets. Jack, as we know, is a whole nother ball game. And I've been having Amanda, who owns 3F Ranch and boarding and training stable, work with him a few times a week. I had kind of told everybody that Jack and I had been having some issues. We had a perfect storm of circumstances, and we had to adjust a lot of things to help Jack be his best. Not only be his best, but be safe. Okay. So here we get down to the supplement thing. Jack is on a really amazing line of supplements, but he's just on one of theirs, and it's called Bomb Proof. And it's made from fresh herbs. It looks like grass when you're putting it in, but he needs this in order to help him even out. There's something going on with his brain chemistry that he cannot calm himself down enough to think. So I do sessions with him. I communicate with him. I have a very effective line with this horse. On the ground will do anything for me, but we get out on the trails and he's just very insecure. Now he's only 5 and he's a totally different temperament than William, but he's also got no bottom. So like a lot of trainers would say, oh, well, blow it out of him, canter it out of him. Yeah, that won't work with Jack. He has no bottom. And as a matter of fact, the more you try to canter him or run him or tire him out, the more the adrenaline goes up and the brain stops thinking even more. So with that said, I have him on this formula that helps him even out his mind. And he does beautifully with it. And he's thinking better. He hasn't lost any of his pep, but he is thinking in a more balanced, rational manner, so that not only is he being his best, but he's safe. Keyword, safe. So the boys are super healthy and they look amazing, but they also need to be safe. I mean, the way Jack was being, at that time we had the perfect storm of environmental circumstances, physical circumstances, and other things going on with him. I was really beginning to wonder about the safety. And so as it's just not only for your animals to be their best for their health, but you have a responsibility for safety. So if you have a horse that has issues, behavior issues, or if you have a dog with behavior issues, you have a responsibility to anybody else that could encounter the dog or the horse to help not only the animal to be safe for themselves, but also safe for other people that have to handle or deal with them. And so with, say, like Jack, I'm hoping that with time and maturity, he'll grow through this and won't need that kind of support from this supplement. But for right now, he absolutely does. And it's best for everybody in the barn that handles him because he's on full board, as well as Amanda riding him and me riding him, as well as for Jack's own safety, that he be on this supplement to help him be his best. And so I see so many times there are behavioral issues. People don't check why the behavioral issues are happening. Like say with dogs, a lot of times when you have behavioral issues, and cats too, a lot of people don't know this, but check the thyroid. That's one of the number one culprits. If it's not the thyroid, it could be a lot of other nutritional deficiencies in the animal. So health covers so much more than just the quality of life, as far as like, is your dog healthy? Do they have all their hair? Is their weight good? All, teeth and all that. Yes, you've got to be looking at that. But, temperament issues, part of health and well-being is temperament. And so if training it can't solve it because there's a chemical imbalance within the animal themselves, then you have to look to other things to try to help them. Like sessions with me always help animals that have temperament or behavior problems. The energy work that I do, connected energy, just seems to make the difference, along with all the other things that I know how to do, and also read the animal. I'm a medical intuitive, so I can read the animal's chemistry and see what is deficient in order to help them. And there's all kinds of things that we look for, the gut-brain connection, all the things that, contribute to good mental health or bad mental health. So that's my connected life for today. I just wanted to point that out using Jack as an example, because when you have an animal and you do have behavioral problems, you have a responsibility to look at every aspect of what the situation is, from working with someone like me to a holistic DVM, to figuring out food supplements. What is it that the animal needs to support them to have the best mental health? And I kind of look at Jack and I kind of go to myself, what if someone who was bipolar wasn't getting their medication? And we've seen the disastrousness of that kind of thing, if that's even a word. The disastrous circumstances that occur when people that either have anxiety or depression or bipolar disorder, that they don't receive what they need to receive in order to help their brain be its best, so that they can behaviorally be their best for themselves and their loved ones. And so that's very similar to animals with behavioral issues. If they have anxiety, if they have depression, if they have some kind of imbalance, they have ADD, which kind of Jack does, you have a responsibility for not only the animal's health, but everybody involved. So like in particular at boarding stables, it's so important. And so when I was trying to figure out what was going on with Jack, when the conditions changed so dramatically, that was my primary motivation, to be honest. A, yes, to make things better for Jack, but B, I thought, how irresponsible of me to not think about everybody's safety at the barn if my horse could be unpredictable enough to cause a problem. I think, the burden is definitely on a person who's an owner or a pet parent, however you want to call it, pet guardian, to look at every aspect to make sure your animal is as safe as humanly possible for everybody involved. So that is my connected live for today. I'm doing it from inside the cool house, my office, which I'm keeping dark and cool because it's very cold cold. I wish it was cold. It's very hot in Oklahoma. So I've already been out today. I rode William. Some people saw my pictures of me scolding William because he was being a bad pony today. But I kind of got it all done before it really got hot out there. So take good care wherever you are in the country. Be safe, be healthy, and think about this message today, because it's really important. A lot of people try to cut corners on supplements and medications and things that not only they need, but obviously what their animals need. And it's something to really think about for both the human animal and for other species. Is, a lot of mental health has to do with foundational medicine of nutrition, as well as specific supplements that each individual needs. Like each person is deficient, each animal is deficient in certain areas, because it's just the nature of having a body, right? So you have to look for those things and balance them out in order for an individual to be their best, whether it's a human being or another species. Thanks again, everybody. If you need to find me online, healertv.com to make an appointment. And I hope everybody is having a wonderful Sunday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.